Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
After Schumer made his threats on the Supreme Court,
you won't know what hit you.
the Democrats' top priority is an hour-long made-for-TV special.
Fox's decision not to air live proceedings on January 6th is cowardly.
Americans aren't buying it. Record high gas prices, doubled, is affecting the American people.
Inflation is the bane of our existence.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Wow. It's cowardly because Fox News is not running an illegitimate committee hearing. Lisa Stefanik said as much. This is a joke. They have no authority. They were improperly convened. This is the first time in the history of Congress that you have a committee like this in which the minority had no say-so in who sits on the committee. The first time in the history of Congress. We'll get to that in more detail. By the way, don't forget, coming up in about 23 minutes will be the special pep rally down at the Town Commons in Greenville. Cliff Godwin will be be there speaking. We're going to try to pick up the feed of that. We'll be monitoring that and go to it as soon as we can get that feed. Also, that starts at 5:30. Then at 6 o'clock at the Town Common, Eagles Tribute Band on the Border. They will begin their performance. They will play probably from 6 to about 8:30. Take a break somewhere in there. But there'll be food trucks down there. So come on down to the Town Common in Greenville and enjoy getting ready for Texas. I guess Texas is in town, I would think, since they play at noon tomorrow. I would think they are here and in their hotel and probably already gone out to the practice field. Unfortunately, we have to report to you out of the Washington Examiner, 5 Marines were killed earlier today during an aircraft crash. Actually, it happened yesterday. The information was released today. The aircraft, an MV-22B Osprey belonging to the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing, went down during a training mission near Glamis, California. Major General Bradford Goering issued the following statement: "We mourn the loss of our Marines in this tragic mishap. Our hearts go out to the families and friends as they cope with this tragedy." The Marine Corps did not provide the names of the service members, waiting for notification of their family members. An investigation is underway. Apparently, when it first went down, there was social media reports that said there was nuclear material aboard the aircraft. No, it didn't happen. And it's, pardon me while my phone is turned off. Yeah. You might want to call Mark Miller, Mike. He apparently thought he'd call on my cell phone instead of the studio phone. So anyway, getting back to the story, the Osprey went down and 5 Marines were killed. You know, the Osprey was the airplane that was very controversial. You know, it's the one that takes off as a helicopter and then turns its wing and flies as an airplane. And remember, when that first was introduced, they had a lot of problems with that airplane. And remember, Congressman Walter Jones got very involved in one of the accidents in which they blamed the pilots. And they really, I can't remember whether or not they ever determined or ever got that decision in which the pilots were blamed overturned. And they recognized that indeed, when that plane first came out, that they had some major problems with it. Yeah, we're going to get to Mark Miller in a second here on Concert on the Common. The North State Journal is reporting the North Carolina statewide election integrity summit will be held tomorrow and Saturday, June 10th and 11th in Raleigh. This is an important meeting. There will be a special attorney there who's an election expert, Cleta Mitchell. She will be speaking along with Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. By the way, Mark Robinson, did you see that poll from late May? Mark Robinson is the most popular Republican in the state of North Carolina and making national news constantly. But he will be speaking there as well. If you'd like to be a part of that, This is a good organization, and this will be an important summit. You go to voterintegrityproject.com/NC-summit. Again, that's voterintegrityproject.com/NC-summit if you want to be a part of that. All right, we've got Mark on the line. Mark Miller from WNCT-FM. Big happenings at the Town Common. Mark, welcome in.
I tell you what, Tom, there's a goings-on, a transpiring here at the Town Common.
So you got baseball fans and music fans.
I was just wondering which one people think is the cherry on top, right?
I think it might be the baseball. I think they actually might outdo the Eagles.
The cherry on top might be the Eagles because people are here so excited about the actual pep rally and seeing Coach Cliff Godwin, seeing John Gilbert out here as well. And then you're going to have one of the greatest live acts we ever have come to Greenville in On the Border, the Ultimate Eagles Tribute Band. And you think about just the catalog of the Eagles, which in and of itself alone is incredible, but the way they play it so faithfully and they leave you speechless. It's like you went to an Eagles concert. And the best thing about it, Tom, is that these guys are going to, this weekend, they're playing sold-out shows where people had to pay money to see them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you get a bargain here because you just got to plop your behind down on the grass and it's a free show.
I was reading on WNCT's website. They had a nice write-up about the event tonight. And, they were saying this tribute band was considered the best Eagles tribute band out there, period, end of report.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't know. I haven't seen a ton of Eagles tribute bands, to be honest with you, but this one is just, they're so terrific, and they have a lot of hits.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of one of those concerts where a song's going to come up, not just the fact that it's playing, but the way that they play it. It's just going to take you back to where you were when you first heard that song, or just make you realize, man, how lucky am I to be hearing the Eagles without having to pay the ticket prices that it would cost to see the actual Eagles.
There you go.
It ain't that different. I'm telling you, Tom. It's an incredible show.
So the pep rally starts in about 15 minutes, right? And then we've got the Eagles tribute band On the Border comes up at approximately 6 o'clock. And there's food trucks and beverages, anything you want.
You got the food, you got the drinks. You grab some of that, grab a spot on the lawn. Seats are filling up quickly. I see nothing but ECU shirts out here. I see purple. I see gold. I see just enthusiastic fans that are already here. It's going to be a really cool party tonight. I don't know if we've ever had one with this much anticipation because of both big events at the same time.
I tell you, I think the ECU Pirates will probably well, let's put it this way. There's going to be a big crowd there. Whether you're a Pirate fan or an Eagles fan, there's going to be a big crowd there.
Indeed.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the call.
For everybody, and it's free, everybody.
There you go. The best deal is it's absolutely free, so come on down to the Town Common. Great. Look forward to seeing you down there, Mark.
You got it, man. Take care.
All right. And again, we're going to try to, when the pep rally starts, which is supposed to start in about 15 minutes, we're going to try to go and at least hear part of that, at least to tune in to hear what Cliff Godwin has to say as they get ready for hosting the Super Regional Best Out of 3 series with Texas. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a time out because if we might need that extra time once we get to that pep rally. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of the best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Maribella's and the great pizza that you get at Maribella's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
When we're not covering Brandon's heroics.
This, Brandon, what does he play?
Well, Mr. President, they're not,
Folks, let's hear it for Brandon. What a job he's doing. Let's go, Brandon!
Now back to news and
Let's
views
go,
on 96.3 and 103.7.
Looks like pretty good weather for tonight's concert on the Common. Partly cloudy, low around 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, a high around 87. Tomorrow night, a chance of showers, and then more so a chance of showers on Saturday. Scattered showers in the morning, possible showers in the afternoon, a high about 83 on Saturday, so the temperature sounds good. And then, again, Saturday night, a chance of scattered showers. So, some rain, we probably need it. Weather brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Whether you're looking to spend your summer poolside, courtside, or greenside, Ironwood has it all. They offer a variety of membership packages, each tailored to fit your lifestyle with no initiation fee required. And listen, best of all, if you're headed to the beach, pack your clubs, because Ironwood members receive reciprocal golf and dining privileges at the Beaufort Club in Beaufort, Compass Point Golf and Club, and Magnolia Greens located near Wilmington. For more information, contact Membership Director Jenna Doyle. Her number is 252-752-4653. Join in the fun at Ironwood today, a part of the Renaissance Golf Group. And the bottom line is you're a member at Ironwood. You're also a member at the Beaufort Club, Compass Point, and Magnolia Greens. So you get 4 for the price of 1. By the way, speaking of the beach, Lamprecht is going to be off next week, so we'll be airing the third hour of Sean Hannity next week. And actually, we're going to start that tomorrow afternoon. So vacation starts at 6 o'clock tonight, right as I wrap things up. By the way, congratulations to former Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, Mark Martin. Mark Martin has been named as the new dean of the High Point University Law School. He's been up in Virginia Beach at the Regents Law School at Regent University. And so he'll be coming back to North Carolina. I think he's pretty excited about it. I tell you what, High Point University, they announced the new law school in March as a part of a $400 million campus and academic expansion. 3 families had made donations of $100 million collectively to build the law school, a school of dental medicine and oral health and a library. So things happening up at High Point University, and Mark Martin is coming back to North Carolina. Washington Examiner has an interesting story out. North Carolina education officials worked to eliminate, quote, red flag words such as whiteness when discussing a program that would have trained teachers on how to incorporate critical race theory in lessons for preschoolers with disabilities, according to new emails that have been revealed. Now, what's interesting about this is we're told by the public school administrator, we don't have anything. There's no critical race theory in our schools. A lengthy report from parent activist organization No Left Turn in Education revealed that state public education officials openly discussed in emails the need to avoid terminology that would create red flags while discussing a planned contract with the Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, that they were going to train teachers on how to incorporate aspects of critical race theory into preschool classes. The parent group obtained the emails through the public records request. The contract, which was initially approved by the North Carolina State Board of Education and federally funded, was not finalized because State Superintendent of Public Education, Catherine Truitt, declined to sign off on the contract after No Left Turn in Education obtained slides from the program on how to deconstruct whiteness. And again, they tell us, there's no critical race theory. They were paying University of North Carolina, the Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute, they're going to pay them to come in and train preschoolers with disabilities. Wow. Deconstructing whiteness is an aspect of critical race theory, a framework that says U.S. institutions and culture are systemically racist and oppressive to racial minorities and must be reestablished through anti-racism. The only thing that is systemically racist in our culture today are these people that are pushing critical race theory. That is systemically racist. Nancy Anderson, North Carolina's No Left Turn in Education chapter president, blasted the state's education officials for using federal funds to promote critical race theory while also taking steps to deceive the public. Bingo. It's hand in glove. Don't ever believe when you ask a public official that is a progressive, is so-and-so happening, is this happening? I guarantee you're going to be lied to. If it's anything that makes the average citizen suspicious or look at it in a negative light, they're going to lie about it. It was bad enough that education bureaucrats directed taxpayer dollars to train preschool teachers of special needs students to use CRT in the classroom. It's even worse that they would go to great lengths to deceive the public about it, Anderson said. In a state with an abysmal reading scores, CRT is displacing valuable instruction time. This is intentional and is robbing our students of a quality education. The emails showed UNC staffers asking state education officials if there were any, quote, words or phrases that we should not include in print material. In one exchange, a UNC official said she did not know, quote, how to be safe and yet say what needs to be said. In another exchange, UNC staff expressed urgency in finalizing the contract following an initial teacher training session on racial equity that did not garner significant attendance. I'd like to have the contract finalized. This is a quote out of the emails. I would like to have the contract finalized before they see how few people attended. In other words, these people, these wokies that want to promote critical race theory, they realize the general public is not buying what they're selling. And look, this is big money. Folks, this is big money. This is coming out of the Biden administration, and they are doling out big bucks to organizations like the Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, who say, there's no critical race theory. They are getting paid to promote critical race theory, and your tax dollars are paying for it. No Left Turn in Education said the emails show a need to audit the state's education system. These emails proved our North Carolina Department of Instruction knew and helped these trainings along. Misusing federal funds towards these ends and hiding the evidence warrants a full audit of our state education system. And again, they will come, oh, no, there's nothing to that. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, that's out of the Washington Examiner. You can't believe that. Oh, the Carolina Journal covered that. You can't believe that. They will lie through their teeth. More bad news on the economy. Why? Here's why. Because Joe Biden is doing a Jimmy Carter all over again, and it didn't work for Jimmy, and it's not going to work for Joe. Joe Biden is expected to reinstate price controls, bringing back 1970 gas lines. Do you remember those? I do. I was driving back in the 1970s when Jimmy was president. I remember, you used to go out and sit in gas lines that were a half mile, a mile long to get in and pump. Remember the days? Now, I was up in Maryland at the time. They probably had it in North Carolina too, but, and again, depending on how large of a metro area you lived in, it might not have been the same. But where I was from, they actually said, depending whether your license plate ended in a number that was even or odd, determine which day you were allowed to go buy gasoline. You know, I know there are times in the history of our country where we had to sacrifice for certain things, like during World War II. You sacrificed, you gave, you lived without, you had food rationing. But because of the ineptness of Joe Biden, we're going to get back to where you're going to be rationing certain products. Do they think these oil companies, gas companies, are just, price controls, you're only allowed to charge so much? Do you think they're going to have a loss? They'll shut down. They'll say, okay, we'll go on vacation. We'll shut down. If you think there are shortages now, just wait till you get price controls. And every time they've tried price controls, that's exactly what has happened. Now, usually there is a short-term situation where prices remain stable, and then within a few weeks, it's a supply chain issue. Because look, the people are not going to, they're not going to say, I'm going to take a loss on this. If it's costing them, and do you think OPEC? I mean, Joe Biden's over there begging OPEC to pump more oil. Do you think OPEC is going to say, oh, well, you've got a price control on oil, so therefore we'll make sure we don't charge you too much? I mean, OPEC already thinks Joe Biden's an idiot and won't even talk to him. But that's, there you go. Even Larry Summers, who worked for Bill Clinton and Barack Hussein Obama, even Larry Summers, during an interview with Bloomberg, called what he called it was a price gouging bill, dangerous nonsense. Summers, who served under Clinton and Obama, accused Democrats of creating a diversionary confusion and disregarding real challenges to inflation, which he said have to do with inflated demand created by excessive stimulus measures. And yeah, inflation is happening because we're just printing money hand over fist. That's one of the reasons for inflation. But also with gas and oil, and that's one of the biggest reasons we've got inflation where it is because Biden's war on fossil fuels. And he made no bones about it. And even within the last couple of weeks, his energy department, his energy secretary has come out and given all kinds of incentives to help underwrite green energy while continuing to penalize fossil fuels. And Joe was proud of it. Joe's bragging about it. Let's go ahead and take another time out, shall we? I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on down at the town common with the pep rally. So we'll take a time out, and more news and views to come. Stay with us.
Hey, we're on location today at Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village here in Greenville. One of my favorite people. We've got Lisa Pendry here. And Lisa, big news. You've been working on the store. It looks fantastic. You finally have finished the transformation of the store. You've got your Norwalk gallery open. Give us the whole story here.
We are excited. It's been a big process. It's taken us a while, but now all of our renovations complete, from paint colors to little elegant showroom areas to highlight everything we offer here at Fabric and Home Furnishings.
And we say that it's a furniture store and so much more, and of course that means you also have designers on staff. So tell us about that. You got some new folks.
I do. I've got some new designers that we've added to our team that can come out to your home, walk you through the whole process, help you as much as you need us to pull your home together.
And there's a big party coming on June 16th. You've got your Norwalk Furniture grand opening gala, and it's going to be a big party here in the store, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us about it.
It is. We hope to have dignitaries like Henry Hinton.
I'll be here.
And P.J. Conley is going to come, our mayor. Lots of fun people. All of my designers that shop here are going to be here in the community, and we're going to have some champagne and some hors d'oeuvres, representatives from Norwalk, and just have a big night of fun and festivities and education on what we offer.
I'll tell you, the store is packed right now. I know a lot of furniture stores are still having trouble getting inventory, but you guys have a lot of stuff people can buy right off the floor.
We do, Henry. We invested in a warehouse, and we've added lots of inventory so you can just have it delivered or pick it up the day you buy it. So lots of sofas, chairs, everything in performance fabric so you can enjoy your furniture.
And you started 12 months, same as cash.
We did start that so we can help with everything that's going on in the world right now.
All right, Fabric and Home Furnishings here in Arlington Village. Don't forget the big party, the grand opening gala for the Norwalk Gallery, coming up on June 16th at 5:30, big ribbon cutting, and it's going to be a big party. So I'll be here. You need to be here too. Thanks to Lisa for the update.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Empty lots at car dealers everywhere, except here. The selection you want is at Greenville Nissan. And during the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event, buy a new Nissan with financing as low as 0.9%. The versatile Nissan Rogue, the all-new Pathfinder, or gas-saving cars like Nissan Sentra and Altima. And yes, we have trucks. Buy the new Nissan Titan with 0.9% financing, or the all-new Frontier for $99 a month. Hurry to Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Confused. Cutting through the confusion.
Why are they forcing the vaccine on people at all?
News and views.
Should I get it? Should I not get it?
To bring you clarity and certainty.
I'm tired of it. So I'm losing trust in all of it.
Now back to news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. The group that is heading up all the political activism at the Supreme Court Justice's home is a group called Ruth Sent Us, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ruth Sent Us, which, by the way, Ruth Bader Ginsburg made it very clear that she would not be, I realize she was a liberal, but she would not be in the same boat with these people. But these individuals have sent tweets out. Specifically, they sent a message to Brett and Ashley Kavanaugh and their two daughters after that California man came to their home on Tuesday, was armed, and fortunately, for some reason, I guess it was a cry for help, perhaps, and maybe I'm sounding too sympathetic to the guy. You know, he was suicidal. His plan was to kill Brett Kavanaugh and then blow his own brains out. He called 911. They came and arrested him. So this group, Ruth Sent Us, sent a message to the Kavanaughs. We offer our thoughts and prayer to Brett and Ashley Kavanaugh after a California man arrived by taxi near their home armed with gun and knife and then called police on himself to confess his murderous rage against the abusive alcoholic justice. We didn't send him, the next tweet read. So they sent it to the wife and the girls. Special message for Ashley Kavanaugh and your daughters. This billboard was on your grounds. We feel for you. At Leader McConnell and the GOP aren't worried for your safety. They only worry for the expensive Supreme Court they rigged. and their own power, the tweet read, and included a photo of a poster advertising a crisis pregnancy center. But the problem was, I mean, that sarcasm was bad enough. The problem with this group is they are posting online the homes and addresses of these Supreme Court justices, and they even have it outlined which day and which justice you're supposed to protest against. And by the way, this individual who was arrested with a gun and a knife found the directions to Brett Kavanaugh's home through this group's social media posting this group Ruth sent us. And again, I mentioned this yesterday. Just protesting outside a Supreme Court justice's home and trying to get them to change their position on an issue is illegal. These people should be arrested. And you know what? Merrick Garland continues to ignore it. And these people, again, it is ridiculous that tonight this ridiculous January 6th committee, which has not been brought together in a proper way, I mentioned that earlier in the program, that they have no authority. It's a joke. It's a kangaroo court, literally. While they're having this dog and pony show, and again, the reason why they're doing this, amongst other things, I mean, A, they want to try to vilify Donald Trump. They're scared to death he's going to run again. But B, they want to get the, I mean, why is it taking them 18 months to come to this point that, okay, now we're right before the midterm elections and now we're trying, this is their October surprise. Well, it's not October yet, but I mean, is this part of a reason to try to sway voters in the midterm elections? I think so. But we have this January 6th boondoggle going on at the same time. We're totally ignoring the comments of Chucky Schumer and the acts, the illegal. You talk about insurrection. This is insurrection. This is 1/3 of our federal government. This is the judiciary. This is the highest court in our land. You've got the legislature, you've got the executive branch, and you got the judiciary. They are 1/3 of what controls our government, what leads our government. And all the garbage we've heard about the January 6th insurrection, frankly, it pales in comparison to this. Chuckles the clown Schumer up there. You're going to reap the will. You won't know you won't know what happened to you when we come after you. And then just today, actually it started on Tuesday, went into yesterday, and it continues today. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy made a unanimous consent request to bring legislation that would increase security for justices to the House floor for consideration. He started it on Tuesday. He brought it back up today. The Senate last month unanimously passed a bill amid protests at justices' homes following the leak of the draft opinion by Alito that could affect Roe v. Wade. House Democrats want to expand the Supreme Court measure to include security for other court employees. I mentioned this yesterday. Steny Hoyer wants to include clerks. Why? Because I guarantee you they're going to find that a clerk leaked this information. The first time in the history of the Supreme Court that this happened. I mean, the Democrats, obviously they don't give a damn about the rules, pardon my bluntness, but they don't. McCarthy on the House floor, Thursday, slammed Democrats for wanting to leave Washington and take a long weekend without bringing up the measure for consideration. Quote, how many times do they have to be threatened? How many people have to be arrested with a gun outside their home? What would have happened had he not called 911? He didn't just have a gun, he also had zip ties. What was this nut going to do? McCarthy pointed out to comments made by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, which I just mentioned. I promise you this, every single Republican on this side would give unanimous consent to pass this bill and send it to the president and protect the Supreme Court. He added, I know the Democrats want to defund the police. I know they want to do that across the country, but this is wrong. This is pure politics, and it's got to stop, Madam Speaker. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Capitol, Mitch McConnell also slammed the Democrats for blocking the bill's consideration. A dereliction of duty. He's right. And again, don't give me this crap that the Republicans do it too. No. Democrats just ignore the rules, do what they darn well please. And again, this House committee, this January 6th House committee, what a joke it is. By the way, did you hear Liz Cheney, the rhino Liz Cheney, is on the committee? This is bizarre. They subpoenaed a woman who was the director of operations for the Trump campaign. The January 6th committee subpoenaed her in September. Her name was Megan Small. Ahead of Thursday's primetime show trial tonight, the panel's vice chair, Liz Cheney, solicited campaign contributions from those subpoenaed in this witch hunt. This sounds like extortion. Megan Small tweeted, "Hey, Liz Cheney, is it standard operating procedure on the January 6th committee to ask subpoenaed witnesses for campaign contributions?" Now, Liz Cheney is running in Wyoming. This Megan Small is in Florida. And she gets a solicitation from Liz Cheney after Liz Cheney on the January 6th committee has subpoenaed her to come in and testify at their committee hearing. Small told the Federalist she received the mailer at a Florida address on May the 21st, calling the letter unsavory at best, given the committee's threats to refer those subpoenaed for criminal prosecution by the Department of Justice. Cheney has threatened to make criminal referrals to the DOJ of those witnesses, Small said. So arguably, the campaign contribution is being solicited not just from a witness, but from someone who may or may not be, at her discretion, referred to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. I mean, yeah, this is at best unsavory, at best. I do not know law that well to say this is illegal, but boy, you talk about improper, unsavory, could I say immoral? So she's basically twisting the arm of someone. I mean, you know, the inference is, give me a big contribution and maybe I'll be nice to you. Maybe I'll see to you that the DOJ doesn't press charges. You can't make it up. The Federalist also asks 5 questions that ought to be asked before this kangaroo court starts. I mentioned House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik from New York. She told reporters in a press call yesterday the prohibition on minority-appointed members for the first time in congressional history renders the Select Committee illegitimate as it was established in violation of House rules. It is illegitimate. Now, do you think anybody in the mainstream media is going to ask that question? Fox News, again, is not carrying it tonight. But MSNBC and CNN, they'll carry it, and they won't ask any questions about that. 5 questions. Why did Nancy Pelosi delay deploying the National Guard? Not only was the National Guard not present to reinforce the Capitol barriers with the Capitol Police, it took 3 hours for the Guard that was on standby to receive the final green light to be deployed. 3 hours from the start of all the mayhem. Why did the Sergeant at Arms refuse to cooperate with the Senate? In the Senate's 128-page bipartisan report published in June of last year, lawmakers in the upper chamber outlined notable exceptions among those who cooperated with committees. Among them was Irving's office, which did not comply with the committee's information request. As Pelosi's chief advisor in the House, who engaged in discussions about the National Guard with the Speaker, what Irving hid from senators that representatives now have no interest in uncovering, Pelosi's deputies in the lower chamber have already ordered by the Speaker to conceal any information from the members of the minority. In other words, he knew that there were some things that were improper going on, and so he's just basically kept his mouth shut. Why were half the Capitol Police half-staffed? Capitol Police were made aware of the potential for mass unrest unfolding at the doorstep on January 6th, and yet they were undermanned from just what would be normal. Just had it just been an average day at the Capitol, they were undermanned by 50%. Why? Why were the few Capitol Police who were on duty so unprepared? In a report last summer, complete with 6 months, as opposed to Pelosi's committee taking 18 months to coincide with midterm elections, which is another question ought to be asked. Why did this take you 18 months when the other committee was done in 6 months? The Senate revealed Capitol Police. Again, there was a Senate committee and a House committee. The Senate committee was done in 6 months. House committee is still going on. The Senate committee revealed Capitol Police weren't just understaffed the day of the riot. They were ill-trained and ill-equipped. U.S. Capitol Police Civil Disturbance Unit operates on an ad hoc basis without sufficient training or equipment, lawmakers found. The continued emphasis added of the U.S. Capitol Police 1,840 sworn officers, approximately 160 are trained in advanced civil disturbance tactics and use of hard protective equipment. Fewer than 10 are trained to use the full suite of less than lethal munitions. On January 6th, some of the hard protective equipment was defective. The other question needs to be asked, were FBI informants present on January 6th? If so, how many? What did they do? In January, Newsweek revealed the Justice Department deployed national forces from the FBI installation at Quantico, operating with shoot-to-kill authority as a precautionary measure ahead of the riot. At a committee hearing days later, Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz demanded an agency executive answer about the FBI's potential provocative involvement. Quote, how many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated at the event on January the 6th? Cruz asked the executive assistant director for the FBI, Jill Sanborn. Sanborn repeatedly refused to answer, even as evidence mounts that FBI's presence at the Capitol, including confirming reports in the New York Times. I mean, the New York Times is not a conservative publication by any means. Neither is Newsweek. And both of them say there was something going on with the FBI. And Jill Sanborn would not answer Ted Cruz. I don't know if you remember that give and take, but she just was blatantly saying, Senator Cruz, I'm simply not going to answer your questions. She ought to be fired. Frankly, half the hierarchy at the FBI, needs to be canned. We've got to take another time out. Stay with us. News and Views continues right after this.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
I just don't know where we're going as a country.
It's an utter disgrace.
In a world gone insane.
People are just looking for things to be upset about.
There is still a place.
It's just insane around the country what's going on. I mean, what happened to law and order?
And encouragement.
I'm busting my ass to try to get to where I am.
Through conversation.
Right here on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Interesting new polling out. Now, all the talk we've heard about gun legislation, gun control, doing away with certain guns, certain rifles, certain handguns, certain magazines. Fox News is reporting new polling shows that support for assault weapons ban, the support for an assault weapons ban in the United States has hit an all-time low, despite all the calls to implement a ban following the Uvalde, Texas shooting. This is a Quinnipiac University poll. Now, this is not a conservative organization. I think they do fair polling, but it's not a conservative organization. In this Quinnipiac poll conducted last week, this was conducted well after the Uvalde shooting, well after we've heard Democrats screaming for more gun control. Last week, 50% of registered voters support a nationwide ban on semi-automatic long guns compared to 45% who oppose, which represents the lowest level of support since February of 2013 when Quinnipiac began to ask that question. The highest level of support for the ban was 67% in February of 2018. That was right after the Parkland school shooting down in Florida. Nearly a decade after the school shooting at Sandy Hook, and in the midst of raging partisan and emotional debate, the assault weapon maintains a foothold as cause for outlying ownership hit their lowest level, according to Quinnipiac polling analyst Tim Malloy. The poll does show that Americans do support some forms of gun control, including 74% of polls responding signaling support for raising the minimum age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. According to the poll, 57% of Americans support stricter gun laws in the United States, which is an increase from a Quinnipiac poll in November that showed 45%. The vast majority of Democrats, 91%, no surprise there, support stricter gun laws compared with just 32% of Republicans. Background checks are supported by 92% of Americans, regardless of party, according to the poll. The poll also shows that 42% of Americans expect politicians in D.C. to act on reducing gun violence this year, while 54% do not. And again, I mentioned this yesterday up in Canada, since Justin Trudeau has basically come out and said, you know, it's going to be hard to buy a gun. We're going to make it near impossible in Canada, and the guns are they're flying off the shelf. They're hard to find right now in Canada because people are going out and saying, you're going to make it illegal? Well, I'm going to get mine before you make it illegal. But again, that is really interesting that with all the propaganda out there, 50%, lowest since Quinnipiac has done this kind of polling, 50% are for a nationwide ban on semi-automatic long guns. It was, just a few years ago, 67%. Sort of the opposite of what you would think. Why? Well, that's a good question. But I think part of it is they're saying, the public is saying what Democrats want to do with disbanding police. They realize, Americans realize, I mean, I'm not knocking the police, but the police can't be everywhere at the same time. Fortunately, most of our listening area has got great police force. Whether it's the state police, whether it's your local sheriff, whether it's Greenville Police Department, we've got pretty good law protection. But when you see the Democrats come out time after time after time again, and Joe Biden says, no, I'm not for disbanding the police. Well, a lot of the Democrats are. And Joe, you have come out and you have said you want criminal reform. And one of the things that you have said you want is this no bond deal where if you're arrested, even hardened criminals are arrested, they get out of jail free. It's called equity by Joe Biden, that if you're poor and you can't afford your bail, well, then we should just let you out for free. Well, listen, if you're accused of something like murder, whether you're rich or poor, you shouldn't be let out of jail. And yet, according to Joe, we're going to make it all fair. Everybody's going to love his new policy. Well, the bad guys will. Hey, listen, we got to run. Again, we're off tomorrow and all next week.
Got a trade? Then get to Greenville Toyota. We're out to buy 500 local trades, and we'll buy you out with our best offer. Or trade in for a new Toyota and get our Greenville Advantage with no-cost lifetime maintenance and more. Don't miss the trade buyout at Greenville Toyota.
Hey, we're at Maribella's in Greenville, the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. If you haven't been to this place yet, let me tell you, you are missing out. I want to introduce my friends from Maribella's. I've got Sal, Massimo, and Pietro here. These guys are awesome. Not only do they make great food, they do a lot of things for the community, which we're going to be talking about. But Sal, let's start with you. Let's talk about the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. I'm a regular here. I love it. You guys call it Old World Pizza. Tell us what's different about your pizza.
Well, we got two kinds of pizzas. We have the traditional, American style, and then we have the Old World Pizza, which is made with fresh mozzarella, and the way they do it in Italy.
Massimo, when you talk about doing this food right, it's authentic. And when I talk about authentic, you grew up in Italy, so you grew up with this food. You know how to make it.
Yeah, because we grew up in Italy, we know the ingredient, and everything we do from scratch. And the right ingredient it's been hard for us to bring over here. Now finally we can get the right ingredient to make a right pizza.
All right, now I'm going to talk to my friend Pietro here at Maribella's. He's got the Nino's shirt on today. We're going to talk about Nino's, which is another great dining experience, upscale dining experience, on another segment upcoming. But Pietro, let's talk about Maribella's. For people who've never been to Maribella's, what's the experience going to be like when they come here? Not only pizzas, but pastas, salads, sandwiches, you got it all.
Yes, we do. We have new sandwiches that we put in this new location, and we're going to spread it to the other locations.
The guys here at Maribella's have won national pizza competitions, so you know it's good. Thanks to Sal, Massimo, and Pietro. Folks, do yourself a favor. Come to the new Maribella's here on Fire Tower Road in Greenville, or Maribella's on Greenville Boulevard, or Maribella's in Washington on Carolina Avenue. Also, don't forget upscale dining at Nino's on Red Banks Road.
What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of the best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.